Hello there. It's been a couple days. I know, listen, I haven't made a video. You know I'm grinding. You know I'm in the trenches. The grace of God hitting the shoulders right now. The light coming through the cathedral, through the window, with a lot of mosquitoes out there because it's hot as a son of a bitch outside. However, lock it in. Much love to ya. Lock it in, sir. I said what I said. Editor, they missed me. The people needed me. They need a hero right now. I'm not going to give it to them. However, much love to ya. Yes, brought to you by Poland Spring. You know the deal. Editor, if you don't zoom in, someone will get shot. Why do I have an alfalfa haircut right now? Leave it for the video. Oh yes, it tastes like 2 world bosses that we completely cleared with no issues. We had 1 wipe, but no issues nonetheless. Not too bad. However, before we continue today's video today, because you know I can never speak without stuttering in this world, much love to the link down below. Rested XP, your guide through all of Azeroth and any conquest and journey of quests you need to complete with a fast, orderly fashion. Much love to you. Support the boy, support the channel, and if anything, just like and subscribe. That's all I care about. I'm on border right now. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm hawking a loogie at the screen. Anywho, so we have a lot of things to discuss today, as infirm, you know, did I just say as infirm? I have no idea what I'm saying right now. As in talks of just many WoW articles to go over. At the end of this video, we're going to talk about Paladin stuff that I really want to cover, as in terms of, like, what weapons mainly to go forward and what to, like, approach, but also just discussing the many builds that are for Paladins right now, for PvE side of things. Don't worry, guys, the main focus Paladin video after this one will be a mainly Paladin VOD, talking about a lot of things in general for the class. However, let's go over some things that is going on at Wowhead as of today. So, Blizzard is working to resolve Alliance Onyxia Attunement issues. If you guys are unaware, currently right now, in Stormwind, it is really annoying to do your Onyxia Attunement. If you're not with a group and you don't do it before someone else, you basically miss out on the attunement and you have to go right and back in the front of the castle, you know, talk to basically the marshal, and then you gotta do that long, annoying RP. So basically right now what they're trying to do is get the quest to basically spawn a little bit or respawn a little bit faster so people can get through their Onyxia Attunement, because, you know, I'm still holding my Onyxia Attunement on that exact part just to get through it. I'm waiting for my guild, and then we're gonna go from there. And then in other news, for the raid resurrection issues going on in Season of Discovery, have you guys noticed, and I'm not sure if anybody as of yesterday cleared Kazzak or cleared Azuregos, do you notice when you respawn, I'm not sure if this is just an Alliance thing, but have you noticed that you just get teleported right to the, you know, Westfall graveyard for no reason? I think on the Horde, and I think it's the Barons as well. So it seems like it's a minor, you know, bug or something that they are trying to fix. They'll momentarily be ported to Barons, being transported to the correct graveyard. But basically, you're gonna spawn back at the instant. It's like a mini glitch in the system. I don't know what's going on. Maybe that's how they're basically trying to have it be, but anywho, it is what it is. As long as you get us back to the instant so we can clear the damn thing, that's all Papa T cares about. Much love to ya. Now, some people, they haven't even found the boss. They don't even know where to look at. And I'll help you out, alright? So don't get packed up in Minecraft and get shot, sir. I said what I said, YouTube family friendly. Where to find the bosses for Azuregos and Lord Kazzak. Now, if you're unaware and living under a rock, basically, all you gotta go is to Ajara, near, you know, the Bay of Storms, in that general direction, southwest. And if you're going to the Blasted Lands, near the Dark Portal, where we would go through TBC, to the left side. That's how you would get to both of these bosses and, you know, get going. And, you know, have fun. Get your 15-mans, get your 20-mans, and to be honest with you, if you're Giga Chads, get your 10-mans, because to be honest, with a massive world buff group and a locked-in culture, you can 10-man these raid bosses no problem whatsoever. Now, here's the thing. What I'm noticing is that when I was doing my world bosses last night, we started with Azuregos first. I think next time we're going to do Kazzak first, then Azuregos. But we started with Azuregos first, and it's not a hard fight. It's just a slow, annoying, boring fight, in my opinion. Not saying it's not a cool boss, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, the fight itself, you gotta watch out for little things that you might not catch on to. And you'll see here on the screen, I'm gonna showcase some highlights of, like, footage of what we were fighting last night. And shout out to my boy Zardish, who's one of my officers in my guild. He hooked it up with a quick weak aura during the raid after one wipe, because we just needed to make sure what was going on and handle the situation a little bit more properly. And we got the weak aura in. Maybe if I can get the weak aura, I can link it down below in the video for you guys too, because it covers one of the most annoying abilities that he has in the raid, and it's called Magic Reflection. Now, Magic Reflection will literally ruin the raid if nobody is paying attention for casters. Because when he casts this, and he casts it quite often, it is 10 seconds before any casters can do any damaging abilities, and only melee DPS can do their thing. But for casters, it is a really annoying mechanic. So this weak aura basically pops up a loud horn on the screen, and it just screams, "Don't do it, or you're going to get packed up in Minecraft." So basically, I will put that down below for you guys to help you out if you're struggling with this boss. And just, you know, a little tip to the crowd, you know, much love to you. Enjoy that one. However, though, for another boss that we fought, Lord Kazzak. Now, Lord Kazzak, everyone was hyping this boss to be like, oh my god, he's super hard. This is tough. You gotta kill it in 3 minutes unless you're gonna wipe. Everybody's always, you know, nervous and dooming in the WoW community. Well, let me tell you something. We did it after 3 minutes, no world buffs, by the way, and still cleared the damn thing. You don't need world buffs for any of these bosses, by the way. It's a waste of your time. If you're doing world buffs, then you're just doing it to clear it very fast, but you don't need world buffs. If you have 20 competent people, or hell, even 15, you can get away with schmurder out here. However, though, Lord Kazzak, like I said, you find him near the TBC portal in the Dark Portal in the Blasted Lands, and from there, you're going to be bumping into certain abilities that are quite annoying, for sure, but the biggest key thing for the Kazzak fight is making sure that nobody dies, and dispels. For the Azuregos fight, you can kick everything. There's a lot of things you can kick, like the Mana Storms, the Frost Breaths. You can kick most of the stuff, except the Magic Reflecting, right? You have to deal with that, which sucks for casters. But for Kazzak, you really don't need to worry about kicking. All you got to do is worry about dispelling, because I was even looking for like the void bolts or the shadow bolt volleys, and there was nothing to kick. He didn't even cast a void bolt. I don't even remember ever seeing one when I was running this raid, and I was running Rebuke just in case. Didn't use it once because nothing was happening. For the most part, keep your raid alive. Focus on the dispels, the Mark of Kazzaks, the Twisted Reflections. Dispel these things, and you're good to go. As long as no one dies, he won't regain health, because he'll gain 70k health if you let him live. But besides that, these world bosses, in my opinion, with all due respect, pretty much a joke. They're just pushovers for you to get into MC and maybe get some, you know, couple BIS items for yourself. I think we got what did we get yesterday? We got 2 Eye of Shadows to drop. By the way, that Eye of Shadow, if you guys don't know, drops also from the ads in the Kazzak fight. So, pretty cool stuff. But in general, though, it was dope doing it. I had a good time doing these raids. I had no problem with them. I just thought they were just very easy. But I think that's a good thing, right? Because they're just pushovers to see how hard MC and these new heat levels are going to be, which I'm more curious about that. For the Drain of Blood aura active during Black Rock Eruption. This is something now that they are implementing from STV. If you guys remember, like, you know, the blood icon, you're going to get that now within Black Rock Mountain at the PvP event. That applies to basically all players exiting instances in Black Rock Mountain. For my druids, Flame Wrath has been redesigned with a lower spell ratio, Thorns portion of the proc, and internal cooldown for feral druids. For hunters, this is something that we're going to talk a little bit about more as we go with this post. Trap launchers will no longer augment Frost Trap. From the dev notes, Trap launcher version of Frost Trap has only existed in versions of WoW which mobility and freedom effects were more plentiful. Without them, the safety agency 9 to 15 second range Frost Trap grants hunters is simply basically too much. We're making it so hunters either need to put themselves in a risk in order to place the Frost Trap, or have someone engage on them to trigger it. Now, to be honest with you, I'm going to just say this right now. Like, I was about to call you guys chat because I think I'm on a Twitch stream. By the way, selfish plug. Hello, Jay Tello. Twitch, we stream Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I just did that whole 85-hour stream. Give your boy a break. We might not stream this Wednesday. I don't even know where we're on. Are we on Saturday? Is today Saturday? Maybe we'll stream tonight. Settle down. Don't get shot. However, though, I will say the Hunter trap launcher in PvP was a little oppressive. I'm going to be honest with you. I talked to some of my Hunter friends too, and it was a little annoying. And they know this. They know this. They're well aware of it. They already smack hard as it is through plate gear in PvP as it is, melting me like butter. As I'll show right here a screenshot of just what one Hunter in his macro did just to smack your boy Papatello up and send me to the Shadow Realm. Much love to that Hunter, by the way. I appreciate you, amigo. Now listen. I'm not asking to completely shit on hunters, right? Because I'm never for... I don't like the idea of saying that class should get shitted on. Because I come from, like, you know, games like Diablo where I like playing all the classes. You know, I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, this is an MMO, you know, so it's different. But I really enjoy the aspects of classes having their strengths and their weaknesses, you know? And I understand that. And obviously, Sod was here to implement things to do to certain classes to tweak them in minor ways. Obviously, we went too crazy with the runes and all the retail shit. Totally understandable. But I do think hunters obviously have... It's been an annoying presence in AV, especially when everyone's just turtling and sitting there and there's no incentive for more honor if the longer game goes. It's just... It's completely a shit show. It's a lot of... Can you say it's bad design, to be honest with you? Is that the word to say? Of course, you could say that in the comments below. 100% understandable. But I do think this was a much-needed tweak. Now, if they're going to further tweak hunters, we'll see what happens. But I do think hunters deserve to be that damaging class because they are mainly the only pure damage spec in the game. When you look at all three specs, pure damage, right? So... Overall, though, I think this was a good change. It's understandable. They're still strong in PvP. I mean, Chimera Shot, Serpent Sting, they're still smacking. Melee hunters are not as strong as the marksman hunters. I'm about to call them the multi-bucks hunters because normally you would see them in Winter Spring getting the fire waters. Settle down. Don't get packed up. However, though, mages. Conjure Water rank 7 will now create 20 water per cast. The tooltip may not reflect this change for a while. All ranks of Mana Shield will no longer stack with the Advanced Warding engraved. All ranks of Advanced Warding and Mana Shield are now canceled when the rune is unequipped, or when someone absorbs damage and the caster no longer has the rune equipped, and all ranks of Mana Shield are removed with the Advanced Warding rune is equipped. For Shamans, Burn will now persist through death and not require you to recast Flame Tongue Weapon, so I guess it's just a quality update. Warlock, Fell Rift spawn basically rates have increased, the chance of finding Legion portal tuners and associated tools have increased, and Rune of Decimation is now guaranteed from an overcharge portal, which is something that is really nice for Warlocks in general. Now, over into the dungeon tier sets. Now, many of you guys have seen this already. You're probably already aware of the news. You did it yesterday. The Tarnish Undermine Reels are now purchasable through STV. And I'm going to also show a screenshot here, if you guys are not aware of this, by the way. Right when that went live and the blood event was going on, it was a battle over there in Booty Bay. People were getting straight schmurdered. It was crazy. However, though, you can get your Undermine Reels through your dungeons, of course, killing, you know, bosses and stuff. And you can use those tokens over there in Booty Bay to purchase your tier sets. Because some of those tier sets were annoying to get. Even for me as a paladin, if some of you guys can agree with this, that doing Skolomance, getting all the way to the end, or just jumping off the bridge in the very start and trying to, you know, cheese, get to Rattlegore, come back, open the door, pass the visitors, you know, all that stuff, just to get to the last boss. That boss wasn't dropping my helm for shit. However, though, thank you, Blizzard, for this quality change. I actually saw the tweets and everything that Zyrene and all them were doing, and then they made this, you know, positive change. So I think this was pretty cool, so we can use our tokens for this now and give an incentive for people to keep going through dungeons, getting these tokens, and spending it on stuff with their Undermine Reels. So, another thing that happened today. Now, by the way, need a little iced tea. Settle down before everybody gets packed up. Oh, yes. Arizona. Thank you very much. However, though, Nothitjerome. So I was just on the stream. Much love to the brother. Send all the people at the cathedral to Jerome. Tell him that Tello said lock it in. And he's been playing nonstop. You know the boy. However, though, Nothitjerome made a post that sparked a little bit of controversy. Now we're revisiting the good old Shaman v Paladin discussion. Here we go again. But let's talk about it and see what happened. So, Shamans aren't broken, so why nerf them before raids come out? This is the post from Jerome that caused a little bit of controversy on basically the forums, which got a lot of views here, as you guys can see here, 836 views, a lot of people were replying. Overall, though, it sparked a lot of talk. As a Horde player, I've been noticing a lot of sentiment on social media, Reddit, Twitter, WoW forums about nerfing Shamans. I fear, as do many Horde members, that Shamans will be nerfed soon, likely within the next week. I urge all SOD players to join me in asking Blizzard to hold off on these likely nerfs until at least an initial raid data comes out. On the PTR testing, Shamans were not considered to be very strong. Enhance was rarely top 5 DPS, while Ellie lagged behind somewhere in the lower bottom of the meters. It's been concerning to see so many, basically, anecdotal stories about Shamans being overpowered in PvP. The complaints being levied are not based on data and facts, but on personal experience. Here's the reality. Alliance rely on Paladins for the raids, Horde relies on Shamans. We need them for our groups to be successful. If you nerf Shamans, you're nerfing the entire faction. Our ability to clear MC bosses will be impacted. Our ability to compete in AV. The problem I see is Blizzard balanced classes on the PTR as best as they could before launch. They made decisions based on data to make classes as balanced as possible. So far, we've already seen some nerfs pre-raid and will likely see more. All I'm asking for as a Horde player is that Blizzard holds off on more balanced tweaks, particularly for Shamans, until raids come out. And then when the raid data goes public, it will be clear Shamans are not overpowered. They are merely middle of the pack. TLDR, hold off on more balancing until raids come out. A nerf to Shamans will hurt them massively, and they aren't actually that great right now. So, how do we think about this is in terms of a person who actually plays PvE and PvP, because I enjoy both aspects of the game. So we'll look at it from a PvE aspect first, right? So, I think Shamans have a lot of strong suits for the Horde that makes their dungeon groups successful, that makes their raid groups essential to have, especially a lot of tryhard guilds will have like a shaman in each group, shamanistic rage, and obviously, a lot of things that they provide for their raid team is extremely strong and a path forward for them to clear their raids effectively and efficiently. So I do agree in the aspect of what Jerome is saying, for a majority of what he's saying, actually, because here's the thing. Shamans, if you nerf them, you're going to eventually hit Paladins as well. You're going to hit Paladins with something. This is a two-way sword, because Shamans and Paladins share a lot more with each other than people think. And it's been like that for a very long time, right? And I also feel like if you hurt Shamans in PvE, just because of issues with PvP, it's really going to be upsetting to the peers around them who require the assistance of that, of the shaman, of the class itself, and how much utility and strengths it proposes to the group to make it work with, the functionality of everything to help with certain bosses and, mana return rates and, damage overall, right? Especially even tank shamans. Obviously, you gotta give some love to tank shamans. Tank shamans right now, even from what my friends were saying, are not really doing as great as a lot of other tanks right now. That are currently stronger in the game. So I do think there should be love for some tank support shamans too, and two-hand enhance. And the thing is that I just don't believe that, we're at a point right now where Blizzard is looking at SOD with split balancing. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that's never really existed. Now, here's the thing. I think a lot of people's issues and concerns would have been answered if there was some type of down-the-line balancing where it's like, okay, this will react differently in PvE. This will react differently in PvP. Unfortunately, we're never going to be at that. We're not at that. It's a fantasy world. So it comes to the point of saying, how do we handle it? And I think Jerome is right. We have to see data from the raid logs to see how things work in PvE. Now, when it comes to PvP, I think a lot of people's problems, the biggest thing with Shamans is how aggressive they are with elemental spec, especially in PvP, and how strong they are. And especially, for some people, and I'm not trying to be rude here, but for shout out to the boy, Pally Time actually for this one, some people just don't know what the fuck they're doing in PvP. And I'm sorry, and I don't want to be that guy, but when you verse a class, just because you have some buttons that you think are going to nuke that person, and then when you hit them and they're not nuking them, you have to realize what class you're versing and what their rotations is and what they can do to harm you on the PvP battlefield. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing when you could do at all if there's 6 of any class on top of you in AV. Trust me, I know this. I've had 6 hunters hit me with explosion trap. There's nothing I could do about that. I'm getting sent to the Shadow Realm. It is what it is, right? That's just an acceptance, but that's what any class of 6 people jump on you, okay? That's just the reality of things. But when it's a 1v1 situation, you have to realize what that person has in their kit, how to fight against them, know the durability of this fight, what you need to stack on your character in terms of better trinkets, better consumes, when to use certain abilities depending on their rotation. PvP is not for the faint of heart, and it's not for people that like PvP. These people that complain in PvP don't actually PvP. They just go in there to farm honor rep, and they're not actually PvP, right? Overall, though, I understand the concerns of Ellie's and PvP, and I think maybe things in the future will be addressed, but Jerome brings up a good point here and saying let's wait for data to see where shamans are on the category of the list of things before we look at specific little nuances within PvP that might affect everything. Because to be honest with you, PvE makes up a more majority of portion of SOD than PvP does. PvE is, as we can agree with this, is more of a mass majority of the game than PvP. A very few select players that play PvP actually like PvP, including myself and a lot of other people that, that enjoy the PvP in that category, right? But PvE is a more bigger grand scheme of what Season of Discovery is all about. So we have to see what they do. I think it's the right decision to hold off personally just for a little bit so we can get some data, analyze some things, and realize where we can go eventually, maybe with Shamans in the PvP scenario down the line, to see what we can do to further balance the scales. Because right now, I'm gonna be honest with you, for me as a Paladin, right, I don't even think Shamans are the most oppressive class right now in the game when it comes to like Alterac Valley. In 1v1s, it's more of a durability fight more than anything, and this is something Palio is even correct about as well. Having to play out the long game against a shaman, knowing its suits, knowing its weaknesses and its strengths. And with other classes right now, the one of the most annoying classes I think right now currently in the game, and this is not asking them to be nerfed, I'm just saying I noticed their presence, is Hunters. I think Hunters are fucking insanely strong. I think they're very, especially in groups, there's really nothing you could do against them. And hey, it is what it is, but I do think something down the line might be looked at them as well. There's a very well possibility of that because a lot of people are complaining on both Alliance and Horde sides when, going up against Hunters. They feel like they just got nothing for them. And their plate gear or anything that they have on doesn't mean jack squat. Overall, though, that's my opinion. We'll see what happens. I even know on the Horde end, people think Paladins are busted too. Don't get me wrong. If a Paladin gets on top of you and then you give them the chance to stay in range, of course they can nuke you. Of course they can. But so can a Rogue, right? So can a really good Warrior if they know what they're doing, right? And they can smack you if they have the right gear on, the right properties, and know how to use their rotation as best as they can. But it is what it is. I say, let it rock out. Let what Jerome is saying be true. Hold off on it. Don't nerf Shamans right off the rip. Let's see the data from MC first, and then we'll go from there. Anywho, let's talk about Paladin DPS discussion, as in PvE stuff. Next video, guys, I promise, we're going to break this down more. But basically, my boy Surveillant, jeez, I can't even speak right now. Listen, forgive me for butchering stuff. Pack me up in Minecraft if you need to. However, though, Surveillant posted the Paladin article. He mainly covers it all, alright? Don't shoot me. However, though, yes, he covered everything with Seal Twisting and Exodin, but we're going to talk about specific things today. And one thing in specific is that when you're going Seal Twisting, you're going to be going for the slow weapons, right? This is already known. We all know this. But one thing in particular that I've noticed is the Dreadblade of the Destructor, which I'll open up over here. And if you see the Dreadblade of the Destructor, which I'll pop up on the screen if you guys can't see it because you're wearing glasses, or maybe you're too blind from the computer, or you got a small little Nokia. However, though, the Dreadblade of the Destructor has its chance on hit, which reduces the strength by 125, and its stamina by 50 for 2 minutes. And it also has the equip when struck in combat, has a chance of causing the attacker to flee in terror for 2 seconds. Now, all of this sounds nice and pretty, right? Hold up a second. The one thing they don't tell you is the following thing right here. And I'm going to show you it because my boy actually sent me this on Discord, and I couldn't believe this was a thing. So shout out to Thor. By the way, he does YouTube stuff as well. So Sage of Thor, much love to you, amigo, if you're watching. Overpowered in the WoW Classic game of Season of Discovery. Dreadblade of the Destructor, Dreadblade, basically, I said that twice, didn't I? Somebody pack me up. Is the second strongest weapon with a slow 3.8 weapon speed and a very powerful buff. However, it also has some basically massive negative effects. This weapon applies an aura to the player when equipped. This aura increases melee attack speed by 5%, critical strike chance by 2%, but also reduces the move speed by 13%, causes you to lose 41 health every 3 seconds. The aura is so powerful that this weapon is only slightly worse than Sulfura's Hand of Rag, pretty much. But guys, that is a massive negative drawback to the weapon. Now, I think in PvE, if you're going to use this weapon and you have really good heals, there's really not a massive issue with it. It's still one of the best weapons you can get, behind Hand of Rag, behind a couple of these other weapons as well, which we'll look over here from the Black Blade of Sharam, which I'm going to farm this out more now as well, and the Unstoppable Force if you get the AV Exalted Grind, right? Those are the top 3 weapons right now for slow, seal twisting, two-hand, Paladin. But I think in PvP, I wouldn't use the Dreadblade or the Destructor personally. I think Unstoppable Force sounds a little bit more appealing with the stun of target for 1 second, especially if you're using seals like Seal of Justice to get another stun, followed by a Hodge, and then going into a command, and then, you know, getting a big burst, or going for some type of seal twist at that point. However, though, I like the way these weapons look. I do think Dreadblade the Destructor is cool, but it doesn't tell you about that negative drawback to it. Now, that's for seal twisting, right? As far as Exodin spamming now, it seems like Exodin has now an updated list of weapons that is now better for Exodin spamming, and one of them being is the Blade of Hana. The Blade of Hana is a world BOE drop, so basically this could be on the auction house for a lot of gold, and it seems to be one of the best weapons right now on The Sims, providing a big burst in Exodin style damage, and I think this is something I would personally recommend if you don't have Soul Thrays, if you don't have at least something leveling up like Anger Forge's Battle Axe, but specific items that you can go for, even if you get Impervious Giant, you know, from the Chest of the Seven, BRD, Brain Hacker's not too bad, a world drop in the auction house. Overall, I would recommend Blade of Hana if you have the gold for it. If not, I would recommend farming them world bosses every 3 days or whenever the resets happen to go for Azuregos, to go for Typhoon. Typhoon is incredibly strong and incredibly good too, still doing really good on The Sims as well, and go for that weapon. That's another option as well, to be going for that. I do think two-hand ret tanking, you would use Typhoon as well, but I think Typhoon overall is still a very strong weapon. You can't go wrong if you chase after that item. But overall though, that is basically it for the grand scheme of everything in today's video. I know that was a lot to discuss, and it's been a minute, so I wanted to, you know, talk to you about a lot of things. Now, let me say something right here as an outro to, you know, let you guys know. I've been having a blast with Season of Discovery this phase so far. It's been nothing but fun, having an enjoyable time, and just playing the game at my own pace, and having fun with my friends, and meeting new people. That's what the game is all about to me. And I only hope that everybody out there is taking it easy. Don't stress yourself out. Play the game one day at a time. Realize that there's plenty of time ahead. Get some proper rest. Don't be this guy and get packed up in the bed over there, staying up till like 4 or 5 in the morning on a weekend. Settle down, all right? However, though, I hope everyone's having a good grind out there. Much love to you. Lock it in. Just know Papa Tello loves you, and I wish nothing for the best for you. Stay hydrated, all right? Please stay hydrated, and that's about it. Keep on keeping on, shine on, and I'll see y'all amigos later. Sorry I'm so stuffy today. Allergies. I don't know what to do with it, chat. I don't know what to do with it. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. Why the hell do I have this? Brought to you by a stormtrooper. This dude is currently sucking a lot of... End the stream right now!